Have you heard of the words comparative suffering? It's when a person compares their own suffering with the suffering of another person that is suffering more than them. And what happens when you do that? You create a false sensation in the mind, thinking that your suffering is not that bad because someone else is suffering more than you. Your life is better than theirs. And this is very dangerous because as long as you compare your life with others, you may not feel the need to address your problems. You may lack urgency in resolving your personal problems and suffering, no matter if your suffering is big or small. If you compare your life with others, you will get stuck and you will stagnate. A good example of that is the teaching of the Lord Jesus shortly before he died. And when he was about to endure the greatest suffering in his life on Calvary. Let's read here in the book of Luke, chapter 23. A great number of people followed him, including women who kept mourning and wailing for him. But Jesus turned to them and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children." Here you have the Lord Jesus calling these women daughters of Jerusalem. So clearly they had a good, respective relationship. And he wanted the best for them, and they wanted the best for him. And that's why they were mourning, grieving. They were deeply saddened with the knowledge, knowing that the Lord Jesus would be crucified on Calvary and he would die. And he was in the streets there carrying the cross, being humiliated. But the Lord Jesus turns around and he tells these women such a powerful truth. And the truth sets free if a person welcomes the truth. And he tells these women like this: don't you worry about my suffering, but focus on your own suffering. Don't compare my life with your life. And don't think that because my suffering is greater than your suffering, that your life is better than mine, that you are doing well, that you are not worse off. And what a powerful teaching, because how many people in life, they are mourning, saddened because of suffering of other people in their family, in their workplace, in the world. And they forget about their own suffering. They don't deal with their own suffering, with wounds, with pain. They don't deal with their inner issues. They don't deal with their problems. And their problems, they just are prolonged because they compare their life with others. How many people are stuck financially? They don't not fulfill their potential. They have little progress or zero progress, relationship wise, health wise, spiritually, because they have this habit to compare their life with people that are worse off. As long as you do that, you'll never find the motivation to improve. You'll never find the drive, the urgency, the necessity to change your life. And that's a big mistake. And the Lord Jesus, think about that. One of the last teachings before he died, he taught them, focus on yourself, don't focus on others. And that's the key to living a successful life. And that's a key to living a life with good mental health. Focusing on yourself, resolving yourself, and remember, you will not be able to help others if you don't help yourself. If you are mourning for others, um, but you have unresolved issues. Your mourning, our mourning for others doesn't help the other person. But if we resolve our personal problems, we mourn for ourselves, we resolve the problems inside of ourselves, then we can be a source of inspiration for others. We can be a reference for others. We can be an example for other people. And that was the message of the Lord Jesus. And maybe you may be in a situation that you're very busy and focused on the pain and suffering of others, but you have forgotten yourself. And as long as you forget yourself, you are not able to help others. And God wants you and I to resolve ourselves. And then after that, we can help others to resolve themselves. Tomorrow, we're going to have the Lord's Supper, the Holy Communion, and we're going to continue our Bible study, Warnings of the End. And that's an opportunity during the Holy Communion, the Lord's Supper, for us to reflect inward. When we take the bread and the cup of the communion, it's not with the purpose to compare ourselves with others. It's not with the purpose to look to others, their mistakes or their suffering, their wrongs. When we take the Lord's Supper, the Holy Communion, it's exactly this purpose, that we reflect inward. We do a self-analysis. That's the purpose of the Lord's Supper. So that if we find something within us that should be improved, that can be done better, or that lacks sacredness, that lacks holiness, that lacks sagrado, then we should immediately mourn for ourselves. Thereby, we draw closer to God and we restore with God our communion, our commitment, our vows, our sacredness. This is exactly what the Lord Jesus was talking about. All right, so I've given you an idea about one of the things that are necessary during the Lord's Supper. Now I want to invite you to be part of that tomorrow, Wednesday, 9 a.m. in the morning, 11 a.m. in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, or 9 in the evening. For more information, scan the QR code, get in touch with us. This is the address. We're open 7 days a week. Get in touch with us. And do not forget, last but not least, this weekend, we are also going to have a special theme, which is called Life After Mourning. Okay? As we spoke about that today, and we're going to have the special event this weekend, continue listening to our program tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday in order for you to prepare yourself for this very special meeting. Okay? May all of you be powerfully blessed. Thank you for tuning in and join us again tomorrow. Bye-bye.